Well, welcome to my shop today. I want to go through and explain a few things on some basic wood turning techniques. Generally, it's really nice to start off with a simple project, something we get just our hands used to doing things. And so we're going to start out making a pen, a wooden pen today. I want you to know where this wood comes from. It basically comes from our trees. You can take something like this, or a piece of scrap wood you have sitting around, laying around, and you can use these to make pen blanks. Here's even a bigger one. Just have to cut it out, and when you cut it out, you cut it into wooden blanks that are about 3/4 by 3/4 square, and 5-6 inches long, a little bit longer if you need them. These are some that have been cut out. You take them and then you cut them into the length that you need on the barrel of the pen that you're going to put in. I have one right here that's cut to the length of the barrel that I'm going to make my pen out of. I take this blank, and after I have it cut to length, I'll insert it into a fixturing just centering jig, which will allow me the opportunity of drilling through this and so I can put the barrel inside of it. So as we look at this, we can see we can turn on the drill press, have our center, and drill all the way through it. And then we have our blank almost ready to go. The first thing we need to do after this is obviously clean it out, and then we'll insert some brass barrels that'll hold the insides of the pen, and let us start to put things together. Okay, a few basics you're going to need in order to insert your pen barrels obviously are the barrels that have been cut to length on your block, and once they're cut to length, you have your hole drilled. We've already done all that. Next thing is you need some good epoxy. 2-part epoxy is probably the best. You could use CA glue if you like, but the epoxy works a lot better. Okay, I've taken the pen, the glue and the epoxy. Of course, it's 2 parts. You need to mix it. If you get the slow setting, you have a little bit more time. Quick setting, you can start working on the pen actually faster. Make sure things are thoroughly mixed. I have my pen barrel, and I've taken it and a little piece of sandpaper to rough things up so that the epoxy will have a chance to stick a lot better. And you can use any method you like that seems to work for you. I don't mind doing it like this. As I put the pen in, the barrel in, I start twisting it. So I twist it and I get it in so far, and then I let it set. And just going to repeat the same process with the other one. A little bit of glue, insert it into the blank. Sure, I turn it as I do it so that it coats all the way through, all over it. It's a good seal, good surface. Once again, I let it set. Generally have to let it set for 24 hours to make sure that everything is dry enough, because when I start spinning on a lathe, I want to make sure that it doesn't fall apart on me. It's a good time to talk about some safety issues. The first thing is make sure you always either wear a full face shield or safety goggles or glasses, at least, at minimum. If you're turning something bigger, it would be important to have a full face shield. These are more than adequate for this, so I'll make sure I have those on. Now that my pen blanks have dried and I have the barrels inside of it, I need to take a few bushings, 4 bushings actually, and get this ready to put onto my lathe here, mini lathe. I use a pen mandrel. This is one reason this is so easy and so good to do, because it's you don't have a lot of parts that are actually flying off and being held from center to center, but you have something that's going through it, such as this pen mandrel and the bushing. So I'm putting those on. mount both blanks at the same time. Okay, now I have both my blanks on here and everything spaced out. I put on the keeper and tighten that down. I bring the tailstock over, make sure it's centered. I anchor that, tighten it up a little bit, put pressure on it, and then tighten things down. It's important that I work with my lathe hand or table here and get everything centered so I'm over the top of it, about the middle, anchor that down, and I'm ready to begin turning. When I turn the lathe on, I want things to be at about 1,000 to 1,200 RPMs to start with. The tool that I like to use is a carbide tip lathe tool, cutting tool. These are nice because they're interchangeable. It's something easy to get started with. All you need to do is remember to hold the lathe chisel level with the floor, and then just move it back and forth with a little bit of pressure, and it does an excellent job of cutting. I'm going to turn this on and we'll see how things go. Can always adjust a little bit if I need to. Holding it level to the piece I'm cutting on, and moving back and forth. Slight pressure. As the corners are getting knocked off compared to this one right here, making it rounder as we keep using the tools on it. All the corners should be knocked off at this point. I can tell that if I just put my chisel across and have an effect like that. When it's not knocked off, see how things bounce. This point is where you need to get a little, or you can get as creative as you want to. You want to turn both ends down to the very top of the bushing. Other than that, you can put little shapes in it, whatever you like to do. Okay, after I have the shape about where I'd like it to be, I then take some sandpaper. I generally start out with 100 grit sandpaper. If I have big edges to get off, I'll go down as low as 80. Turn my lathe speed down to right at this point it's about 500 RPMs. Then I just take and start using the sandpaper. In this case, I'm starting out with 150. Okay, how we apply the finish. Using a friction polish on this, paper towel, and it dries fairly quickly. Final part is assembling the pen. Just lay your parts out. Follow instructions depending on the pen kit that you do have. I hope you've learned something as you've seen me work through this pen. Know that we came from tree branch, not too much dissimilar from this, and turn it into what I think is an awesome looking pen. The main thing is follow the steps and enjoy it and have fun. And you can use this as a hobby, or you can even make some money out of it if you'd like. So thank you.